This Board of Supervisors meeting February 10th to order. We have some public, we're gonna do a moment of silence and then Mr. Reed would do our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next we have public comment. We have 2 people signed up today. If you are representing yourself, you have 3 minutes. It'll start as your name is being spoken at the podium. Please state your name and your address before your comments. Please keep it respectful. Who has our time?
All right, I'll get it.
All right. You will be shown that you have 30 seconds left and then stop. Please wrap your comments up pretty quickly when you see the sign.
Don't have the sign.
Don't have the sign.
But I can wave my hands.
David's got it, because you are here.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, Robin Hauschner. Yes, sir.
So I'll just be reading it to you. Robin Hauschner, 403 Perry Lane, Livingston, Virginia, 22949. PJM Interconnection, the regional transmission organization that coordinates the delivery of electricity to all our homes, faces significant threats to its ability to consistently maintain a fully operational grid. Aging infrastructure, cumbersome interconnection queues, and increasing large demands from consumers like data centers put our grid at increased risk for failure. By June of 2027, it is expected that PJM's reserve margins will not be met. There have been efforts to mitigate the likelihood of power losses resulting from this, but they fall short of adequate. The Eddystone Generating Station in Pennsylvania, for example, has been ordered to remain operational despite passing its retirement date in May 2025. It was extended in August, extended again to February 2026, and is expected to continue being extended for years to come until supply and demand challenges resolve, putting greater strain on an aging facility. In this case, mechanical failure of an aging infrastructure is seen as less imminent danger than failure to meet growing demands. This reliance on aging infrastructure could leave us in a similar strait as customers of ERCOT during Winter Storm Uri in 2021 in Texas. Assumptions based on reserve margins, including aging infrastructure, can easily lead to greater harm being absorbed by residential households like those of Nelson. PJM has stated that in the event of a load needing to be shed, transmission owners like Dominion and load-serving entities like CVEC will receive guidance proportional to their contribution to total load on how much load must be shed in order to prevent total grid failure. CVEC currently represents 0.36% of Dominion's total active load and an even smaller portion of the PJM total at 0.07%. On paper, that seems negligible, but in practice, that can prove devastating when an additional load the size of Project Hercules comes into our service territory. In the matrix in Table 2, various load shed scenarios are presented. On the low end, with no data center as part of our proportional load, no ask from PJM would exceed 5 megawatts. With Project Hercules' projections for load draw, however, that math changes. Without mandatory disconnect of the facility in load shed scenarios, PJM's proportional framework will demand a greater share of the existing 86 megawatts in CVEC territory be shed. In the worst case scenario presented, a 5% load shed request would equate to 19.3 megawatts, or 22.44% of the load of the rest of CVEC's service territory, which I assert would be untenable to safely rotate in severe conditions. Given this information, I would ask the board to advocate more strongly with CVEC to gain transparency into their mitigation strategies and answer these questions. To their knowledge, will PJM's framework be proportional or will weight be given to specific territories? Does Project Hercules have a curtailment agreement that would allow CVEC to force disconnect during emergency conditions? Does CVEC have a plan for which feeders to cut first when faced with various load shedding requests? Allocations are not random, nor should they be. Critical infrastructure, like hospitals, must be protected during times of need. While I understand the board would face unlikely odds in seeking to halt the development of a by-right facility in Appomattox, I would also push for you to come together with other counties serviced by CVEC and push back against the installation. We have the power to come together as a community and be better prepared for adverse events in the future. I don't believe that loss of life should be the requisite motivation for action in our community or in the region as a whole. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, we have Stephen Bain.
Stephen Bain, 620 Farnob Climb, Nelly's Ford. This is regarding the presentation in today's packet regarding the reduction of the real estate tax rate to offset a greater than 30% increase from the 2026 reassessment. It is unfortunate that the scenarios for the reduced tax rate start at 57 cents versus 50 cents, the rate that fully offsets a 30% increase. It is important for residents to know and understand the reduced rate that would fully offset the effect of the reassessment. This is not clear or transparent enough for residents. We know that the county's 5 districts were affected differently from the reassessment. Nonetheless, it is important to start at the county level and then work down to the district by district analysis. This analysis focuses on a FY27 school deficit totaling 2.1 million, yet I've been unable to find that budget on the website. I suggest that there needs to be more transparency for residents. Parts of this analysis may be premature in terms of the budget calendar. It is important that the citizens of Nelson County understand with transparency all details of the effect from the reassessment, as well as how the county and their respective representative are protecting their affordability to the fullest extent possible. Thank you.
That concludes everyone that signed up. Anybody else? All right. That will be the end of public comments. Moving on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, I'd like to move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
All right.
Second?
We can roll call vote, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
Mr. Levine,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Dr. Whitman.
Yes. All right. VDOT presentation.
Thank you, Jessica. I really don't have a whole lot to report this month. We've been mostly involved with snow removal for most of February. Haven't been able to get a whole lot of maintenance work done, but, we are gonna do a pothole blitz, next week, and, just looking around, we've got quite a few popping up here around, and it's right up in the upper end of 29, the Apple Mall, and then Woodsmill, we got some up there, but hopefully they should get fixed tomorrow. Like I said, just, want to thank everybody's cooperation for patience and with snow removal operations. We've had at least one real tough storm. But before change, Nelson County didn't get as much as some of our other areas did. So looked like we fared a little better up on this end, and that's usually not the case. Usually we get the most snow, and I have to laugh at my VDOT counterparts. And I said, there's a reason, there's a ski resort in Nelson County. It snows and it's cold, so I have to remind them of that. But I really don't have a whole lot to report this morning, but this afternoon, but I'll be glad to listen to any concerns you all have.
Go ahead.
Rockfish River Road, there's this one driveway that's been pouring water, and it's basically year round. I can't remember what the address, but it's before you get to Laurel. It's between 29 and Laurel, essentially. This water keeps going on it, and of course we've had this really deep freeze, and it's created this natural glacier that keeps migrating and getting worse. It has at times been 3 to 4 inches thick, especially at the peak of the snow disaster. I've seen one person go across it at 40 thinking it was just, itty bitty little patch of snow. But it's got a little canyon, had a little canyon. And, you can pop some tires pretty quick, make it stop. It looks like they scraped it a couple times, but I think a more permanent resolve with whatever's happening off that road. I don't know if they got a bad crown or swale or what it is.
But it's actually on Rockfish River Road.
Yes. I don't remember what address that'd be close to. Far Bridge. Drumheller, I don't know. In that neighborhood. I can text you better.
Give me a description.
The-
Give me an address or something.
Yeah, I'll try to get you somewhere closer to
So
it.
I can pin it down.
Yeah.
Mr. Lanahan,
Already spoke to Ms. Brown before.
excellent. Mr. Reed,
I don't have anything except grateful thanks for getting things clear and open for us.
Mr. Brewer,
No, I have
Good.
nothing to add.
got a short day today.
It's short, thank y'all.
Thanks,
Yeah,
sir.
go on.
I got that address if you want it right now. 11944.
1194.
44. Rockfisher Road.
11944.
I lost it. Yes, correct.
Okay, we have a presentation for 2026 reassessment analysis number 2.
Boy.
Okay, good afternoon. We started at last month's meeting, with our first preliminary analysis of the reassessment. And we reached a point where we could describe the 2026 tax levy at the 65-cent tax per hundred of taxable value versus the 2025, tax levy at the same tax rate. That increase was determined to be about $6,645,614, a 31.5% change. That equivalent tax increase per using 65 cents per $100 of value is 15 cents, 15.58 cents. And the 2026 tax value of the penny is $426,540. As Mr. Bain noted, the rate to equalize the tax revenue would be 49.50 cents if you round it to the whole penny. Okay. So this chart attempts to show a comparison of the percentage of increases you could contemplate to retain that equivalent revenue and the resulting new tax rate. So if you look at the far left, that's the percent increase retained. I did start with the 16%, as that was something that the board, or at least Mr. Rutherford, had thrown out as maybe something the board might consider looking at to start. You can certainly look at other scenarios other than what's in this chart. So I looked at 5% increases from 16% just down to 19%. Moving right within the chart, you'll see what the 100% collection equivalent in dollars is. So for the first line, the 16%, that equivalent tax revenue would be $3,372,720. That, if you divide that by the 4-year reassessment period, is about 4% per year. And equally dividing it amongst the 4 years, that'd be $843,180 a year, or 2 cents in the tax rate, for a total of 8 cents retained for the 4-year period. That then equates to a new equivalent tax rate of 57 cents. And then your 100% tax levy for tax year 2026 would be $24,452,220. I won't go through each example, but each 1% of increase retained equates to $210,795 in tax revenue. And the cents shown here in this chart have been rounded to the nearest whole penny. So happy to answer any questions about this chart before moving forward. Okay.
I think one thing, this would be for maybe during the budget, I would like to just to see where our neighbors are in their real estate tax rate as well.
Okay.
I know Amherst is a little bit more of a complicated situation, but just to see and which counties are also in a reassessment. I think Amherst is in a reassessment, but I think Augusta did theirs. Armall does theirs every year, and I don't know about Buckingham.
Okay. So what we would be collecting though is what their current
Just
tax
what the
rate
current is and if they're in a reassessment as well.
Okay, gotcha. moving along to the next slide. So this slide is meant to just take a look at the budgetary timeline, mostly tax year reassessments, kind of layered with fiscal years and the state biennial K-12 LCI rebenchmarking cycle. If you look at the top on the left side, we have the 2026 tax year reassessment being effective. This is the FY 25-26 fiscal year for us, and it's also the second year of the current state biennium. If you look at, that's in the blue, if you look at the peach color, that is the 2027 tax year when our new reassessment revenue would be realized for a full fiscal year. And that is the start of the new state biennium in terms of education funding. So that would encompass FY 26-27 and FY 27-28. The yellow then shows the next education funding biennium, and so does the green, just so you can see it step out and how it interacts with our reassessment schedule. So our next reassessment will be 2030, and that reassessment will be effective January of 2030. And then we would again have, that would be before the next biennium in FY 30-31. So then I attended the school board meeting the other night where they introduced their FY 27 budget. And this is based on the governor's introduced budget. So there will be changes according to the General Assembly that may change a lot of these numbers. However, they are showing a revenue deficit of $2,129,215. And this is comprised of a net reduction in state, federal, and other funds of $1,286,637. And then they have an increase in expenditures of $842,579, which represents a 2.49% increase on the expenditure side from FY 26. So I then plugged these numbers in over here on the top chart, showing the FY 27 state, federal, other revenue loss for schools at the 1.286637 for FY 26-27. The school division has indicated to me that that same deficit in FY 27-28 is expected to be at least $1,087,000. And then the increase in the FY 27 division expenditures at $842,579 is shown. That's obviously to be determined for next fiscal year. And then that chart also shows the total FY 27 school revenue deficit of $2.1 million. And again, that's to be determined for next fiscal year in 2028. The bottom box shows the starting point of if you were to retain the 16% of the reassessment increase at $3.3 million, account for the $2.1 million in school revenue deficit, and also the FY 28 anticipated kind of minimum deficit related to the LCI rebenchmarking, then you would have a remaining amount of $156,504. So I just want to point out too that these charts only show the potential distribution of 2026 reassessment revenue at the 16% retained. Doesn't account for any other estimated real estate growth or other local revenue growth. None of that is factored into this example. It's just strictly dealing with the potential increase in real estate revenue from the reassessment. So I know that's a lot, so if there are any questions on that.
Are we anticipating $1 million a quarter increase from other departments? Because
That
we're
we
at,
don't know yet. We're still building our
'cause that would be a
budget.
3 cent, 3 cent offset there. Bring it down to 54 cents if that's the case.
Right. Yes, and this just only takes into account the school funding budgetary numbers that we are aware of. We're, like I said, we're still building our budget, and you all will see the full picture of that. March 10th is the goal. on that. So a lot of this is just, sort of a primer, and, you know, building the budget is kind of like building a puzzle. There are a lot of puzzle pieces that you put together. So right now, we're just trying to give you some puzzle pieces to have ready that will form the bigger, form the puzzle of the budget when we get to that point. So. Okay. All right, did put together some tax examples, by district for 16% increase using the 57 cents per $100 value of real property tax rate. Just gonna put a little disclaimer on this and say that these examples were chosen to portray a varied sample of percentage increases in assessed values, and tax impacts, and may not, and most likely will not, be representative of the district as a whole. So these are just examples, chosen to try to show a different variety of, assessment increases and how that translates to the tax impact using the 16% increase. All right, so in our first example, all of these charts are broken down to 2025 on the left, 26 on the right. In our first example, you can see they've got land and improvements that total $461,600 for 2025. You apply the 65 cents tax rate, to get equivalent 25 taxes of $3,000.40. On the right side, the 2026 property values, increased 13.47%, which is in that lower box there. Applying the 57 cent tax rate, their 2026 taxes would be $2,985.66, which is a slight decrease of $14.74 or 0.49%. Okay, the next property, is a West District example, and it has a nice mix of market value land plus, a land use component and improvements. So in 2025, they had a land use discount of $30,800. Without that, the regular, property value would be $499,400. Then their 2025 taxes translate into $3,246.10, and that land use discount represents, a discount on their 25 taxes of $200.20. So moving to the right, the 2026 property values, again, those have a $30,800 discount related to land use. Without the land use, they would have a 23.08% assessed value increase. With the land use, that assessment is 21.41% higher. So using the 57 cents tax rate, their 2026 taxes translate into $3,455.91. They still have a discount of $175.56. The tax difference for 2026 versus 25 is $24.64, which actually is a decrease of 12.31%. So you can kind of get the idea that the assessed value shown on your, property assessment doesn't necessarily equate to what your tax obligation is going to be. Okay, moving on to the Central District. You can see in this example, there's land and improvements. The 25 taxes were $5,379.40. In 26, that assessed value increased 28.61% to $1,064,400. Applying the 57 cent tax rate, new taxes in 26 would be $6,067.08, a tax difference of $687.68 or 12.78% increase. Okay, here's one for the North, just also land and improvements. This person had a 50% increase in their property value from 25 to 26. That resulted in a $482.16 tax difference. Percentage change would be 31.54%. Okay. Here's one for the South District. Land and improvements, 25 taxes, $1,061.45. The 26 property values increased 20.76%. That translated into a dollar difference of $62.59 or 5.9% increase. All right, this is just an example of a property that was land only and just another land use example. In 25, they had a tax obligation of $222.95. The land use discount on that for the tax obligation was a discount of $1,264.90. In 2026, they had a property value discount of $232,800. The regular increase on the market value of the land would have been 16.69%. However, because it's in land use, those values don't change, so their increase in value was 0%. And then with the decrease in the tax rate from 65 cents to 57 cents, they actually experienced a decrease in their tax obligation of $1,326.96, or a 4.91% increase overall. Okay. So are there any questions about the information presented today?
Definitely looks like the North District is hit the hardest.
I don't know, like I said, it may not be representative of the district as a whole. But yes, that particular increase was fairly significant.
Did you take like a median or an average when you were figuring out the assess?
No, I
For
did
these
not.
examples, you
I
just
did
picked
not.
one?
Yeah, just
Okay.
kind of trying to find just varying percentage increases in values.
Your best opportunity to kind of do that is maybe utilizing local MLS operations and see what the median sales are for specific property values. Would be the only thought I could think of.
Again, just trying to provide the board with pieces of the puzzle relevant to your impending decision-making related to the budget, and we hope to have the full budget proposal and presentation at the March 10th.
Thank you. All right, Susan.
Good afternoon. I think I have some good news here as far as the 911 and IT budgets go for today. Both the 911 and the information systems budgets will remain essentially the same as last year, with any increases that we have primarily due to increases in maintenance and support costs, which are quite common these days. The budgets, and services will continue, to be held at the same level of services in prior years, while keeping costs relatively stable. While additional funding for new items is not being requested in the information systems budget, we will be implementing additional services for vulnerability scanning, data and asset management services. These will be done through VITA, utilizing funds from the Virginia State and Local Cybersecurity Grant Program. These services will further protect the county from security breaches and bring us closer to full compliance with the local election security standards. All the implementation and service costs of those items will be paid for through the grant program. and overseen by the state for a period of 3 years. So I think that's progress, without additional cost. For the E911 budget, through the Virginia PSAP grant program, funding will be available to offset certain eligible costs. In the current year, funding through this grant program has been used for the replacement of the CAD and RMS server for 911 in the sheriff's office. We've used it to pay our annual AT&T EZNet charges for 911 services and for other needs specific to the PSAP. In FY27, funding up to $350,000 will be available for this program. And so far, we've tentatively planned to cover the cost of a carpet and furniture refresh or replacement in the 911 center and continuing to pay the annual EZNet charges. So those are just two of the items that we've come up with so far to utilize those funds. In addition to that, the budget's further offset by the county share of the statewide 911 tax, which is approximately $77,000 for the year. So the good news is there's a little bit of help for the budget, which I'm sure everyone will appreciate. And then just quickly, just touching on capital outlay projects. We do have a routine battery replacement for county UPS that we'll be talking about, replacement of a county server that's used for the county's real estate financial management municipal software. Replacement of mobile data computers for the sheriff's department. As I mentioned, the carpet and furniture potentially. And then the items that we've talked about in the past, which are an upgrade to the county radio system that would provide a trunked radio system with increased capacity channels for utilization by public safety. And then the potential addition of a tower site in southern Nelson to provide for improved coverage there. So that's about all I have as far as just an overview of our plans. But if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Any questions? I'm excited about the grants because usually your budget just gets me anxious. So I think we're good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
All right, Dylan.
Good afternoon, board. Welcome Supervisor Linehan.
Hey, hey.
So planning and zoning's budget remains substantially the same from year to year, to cover advertising costs, travel. We do a lot of training, continuing education, those things like that. The one request I'll speak on is for the junkyard cleanup. Our department enforces compliance with the zoning ordinance, and the highest volume of complaints received and violations that we issue are for junkyards. Oftentimes, it's really difficult to bring these properties into compliance for a number of reasons. Typically, those who find themselves in violation, they're elderly, disabled, they're experiencing medical or financial hardship, and they just don't have the resources or family and friends to help them. Our goal is never to penalize or intimidate these people. It's simply property compliance, public health, safety, and welfare. It's a complaint-based program, and staff always works with violators on a realistic timeline for compliance, as long as they're communicating and progress is being documented. This request is to reestablish a grant program that allows violators the opportunity to seek funding to have properties cleaned up. A few years ago, cleanup money was allocated, which we were not able to use for several reasons: COVID, courts closing, staff turnover. As you know, we have our new planner, Cody. He's just finished his probation. He's got a background in zoning code enforcement. We're ready to pilot this program using local companies to facilitate the cleanups from junk removal to inoperable vehicle removal. Staff would work with the property owners on a compliance plan and a timeline and utilize this money to compensate the cleanup companies. And we'd also request that tipping fees be waived. Several cases have arisen within the last year that could benefit from this program. And I'll just note that our draft zoning ordinance also has more clear parameters on determining what constitutes a junkyard, as well as establishing minimum standards relating to setbacks, screening, and maintenance. If you have any questions on that particular aspect or any feedback.
Could you possibly team up with like Habitat for Humanity or the court systems for like a community service?
Absolutely. I think there are opportunities. We've been in discussions with the sheriff's department as well. So that would be part of this, is identifying resources that would help us clean these properties up. Next, I'll move into fees. One recommendation from the draft ordinance update includes adopting a countywide fee schedule. Currently, the fees are included in the zoning ordinance, which requires public hearings to amend. A fee schedule allows the board more leniency to make necessary fee changes. Staff's working on drafting a proposed schedule for zoning and subdivision fees, along with a manual to address procedures for various land use applications. That should streamline and clarify application requirements for any citizens or developers looking to locate their projects in Nelson County. Staff evaluated fee schedules for other localities, including Albemarle, Amherst, Fluvanna, Greene, and Louisa. Fees for Nelson definitely fall towards the lower end of these, and currently we do not charge for administrative zoning approvals, such as new structures like a single-family dwelling, home occupations, and signs. By charging even just $15 per zoning approval, this would equate to a revenue increase of approximately $3,000 a year. That's based on FY25 numbers. And that's even on the lower end as well. Some localities require 30, 85, 15 sounds fine to me. Increasing our public hearing fees. This often barely covers the cost of the required legal advertisement. That would ensure additional revenues to cover those costs, as well as staff time. The majority of revenue generated by planning and zoning comes from plat fees. That can also be increased, as we're one of the lowest in the region. In addition to establishing minimum performance standards in the draft ordinance regarding short-term rentals, there's also been discussion on requiring a yearly registration fee in addition to the business license. New software that we're rolling out allows staff to track these short-term rentals, and a common practice is charging an annual fee, typically in the amount of an average nightly rate. That can also be incorporated into the proposed fee schedule, and we can have that prepared and ready for review at any time. Do you have any other questions about our budget requests, fees, junkyard cleanup?
Can you send us what our neighboring localities are charging?
Absolutely, we've got a chart we can share.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Is that rate voted on by this board, or is that done administratively?
It would be voted on by the board.
Okay, yeah.
The last item I have, somewhat related, unrelated to budget, is scoping for mapping exercises for the update we're currently working on. When initially we discussed the scope for the comprehensive plan, what feels like years and years ago, then later the zoning and subdivision ordinance, the county decided on a 3-phased approach. We did the comprehensive plan first, then the zoning and subdivision ordinances, and then mapping for phase 3. We decided this because there's a high need to update our ordinance. It's 1977 for usability and state code compliance. If you recall, the land use evaluation that was prepared determined that our current ordinance is only 50 to 70% compliant with state code. Map amendments in conjunction with an ordinance overhaul could derail the adoption process. So doing it this way ensures that we start the mapping process with a strong and compliant ordinance. So with discussion and concerns on the zoning and subdivision updates centering lately on minimum lot sizes and zoning districts, staff inquired about scoping out some preliminary mapping exercises. So although this would delay our current adoption schedule process, this method would help us guide discussion and inform your decision-making regarding lot size. Staff sent out a meeting poll to the board members and the planning commission members so that we can schedule more focused discussions on hot topics such as lot size, mapping, any other general feedback at this point in the process. Staff also met with Berkeley Group just this morning. So at the board's direction, we are glad to work with Berkeley Group on a work order amendment to include preliminary mapping services. And that was included in our original scope of work as an optional service. So if you'll recall, we've done several work order amendments to add various aspects off of this menu that we have. So we would work on map exercises internally. We'd schedule another work session to compare our current zoning ordinance to the future land use map and the comprehensive plan. We can discuss how some of the proposed text changes we already have addressed certain aspects, then continue on with the text amendment adoption, and then revisit the map fully in phase 3. So if we can get a work order amendment approved at your March 10th amendment, we can schedule that work session the first week of April. And I just wanted to note that a notice regarding the amended adoption timeline will be posted, if it hasn't already, to the Nelson 2042 and the county website, so we can keep the public informed on the progress. So if you have any questions about that, if you want to give me direction to move forward with drafting a work order amendment with Berkeley Group, we're glad to do that.
I'm on board.
Yeah.
I would love to see a map.
I will admit, in realizing that, if I do wish that they had said that to us, as I was directly quoted in the paper saying, "Man, it'd sure be nice to see a map while we're doing this." And I think it is reasonable for us to get that and do the zoning at the same time, so that, as Jessica and I have discussed once before, we could eliminate half of my argument, hopefully.
I think it's absolutely appropriate at this point in the process. I don't think it would have been wise to do it in conjunction throughout the whole process at the same time, but doing these initial exercises will help us paint the picture to make confident decisions.
Sure.
For the work.
And how that would look is, we're not full stopping, are we full stopping zoning and then doing mapping and then doing both public hearings, or you're going to be doing the public hearings for the zoning still?
So the idea would be we put a pin in the zoning ordinance. We work on preliminary mapping exercises, then continue with just the text amendment.
Sure.
That adoption process, then do another scope for phase 3, which would be the full mapping.
Got it. I think that's reasonable.
Seems fair.
Very
So
reasonable.
we're directing you to plow on with that.
Yeah.
All right, we will proceed.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kevin.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
As you can see, with the budgets provided, that our budget luckily will remain the same. We're not soliciting any increases for the upcoming year. We just feel that if, under normal operations, that will sustain us for the upcoming year. Basically, I'm just here to answer any questions you guys may have for me or anything about the budget.
I know in a lot of this is not to you, but to staff, we have telecommunications in, I think, pretty much all budgets. Is in telecommunications, in their sense, is that your radios and a subscription with whatever our service? Internet. Okay, that's all it is. Okay. And we're Motorola too, right? Just like the sheriff's office.
Yes, sir.
Has Motorola gone up on their service stuff?
Always.
Always. Yeah, the faith. Yeah.
Motorola gone, their fees gone up.
Yeah. And then they phase out our equipment. It's awesome.
What do you think about the dog tax? You think it's a nuisance?
I'm sorry.
The dog tax. What do you think about that?
In regard to,
Seems like a lot of work for a little pay.
oh, it most certainly is. I think there are things to consider with that. I mean, I've talked to several people about options that are, or other options that other localities are doing that, I think it's something we should consider.
Okay.
Definitely on board with that.
Like getting rid of it?
No.
We tried that.
Yeah, it is required by state code. You
Yeah,
can't
really?
just get rid
Yeah.
of it.
2 years ago, we tried to get rid of it.
Not two.
Was it-
Before me.
Was it before you?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's every few years it comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you're the year
And
3.
we are reminded that
Thanks.
we can't.
What are the good ideas?
Say it again.
What are your good ideas so that you know about?
I think there's certain software, and some things that are out there that will kind of tie it all together.
Right.
With your local vet. I'm not 100% on all the ins and outs of it, but I mean, it definitely, I think would make it more, I won't say profitable, because it's not what we're in it for, but it just has more components to it that make sense.
Yeah. And we
I
did.
might have something to say about this.
Oh yeah, you should.
Oh, so Albemarle County uses a software where the veterinarian is required to put in every rabies shot that's given, and then that outside entity runs the transaction and sends. Of course, they make money based on the transaction costs, and then the revenue is then passed back to the county. Where I think I will arm you all with the information. Where I think that would be a good idea is if we use, it would only be a good idea if we use the same program that Albemarle or Amherst or our neighboring counties use, because we would then receive the revenue of Nelson County animals that go outside of the county for veterinary care, because we currently do not receive revenue for animals that go outside the county. That's my thoughts on that.
Thank you for saying to me.
Yeah.
What's the software?
I will send it to you because I can't remember the name right now.
Pretty easy to use.
It has nothing, well,
Treasure.
it puts the burden of the work on the veterinarian and not on the county, which I might have some feelings on that, but from the county revenue perspective, it's a great idea.
Without jacking the price up?
It's not up to what on what part?
Like the $5 to $7 per tag?
Correct. We would still set the price.
The software's making their money on the transaction, like the 50-cent charge.
And probably holding the money for a certain amount of
get their
time and
interest,
paying
yeah.
quarterly or something.
Yeah.
Because how many tags are issued a year?
A very low number.
All right.
Good.
Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, new and unfinished business. Nelson County Recreation Foundation updates.
Good afternoon, Board. So I come to you today to present our recommended group of appointed new board of directors for the newly created Nelson County Recreation Foundation. After bringing this idea to your attention in early 2025, myself along with county administration have worked together to develop our vision and detailed goals that we have in mind before opening up public applications. During this process, we worked with Mr. Philip Payne to create the first draft of the foundation bylaws and our articles of incorporation. In mid-November, we opened up the application process with an original deadline set for December 19th. Our goal was to have representation from all 5 districts, as you suggested that we intend to do. At the December 19th deadline, we lacked any applications from the Central and East districts. Sorry. We extended the deadline through December 29th and then again through January 26th. After multiple attempts, we were still left without any applications from the Central and East districts. However, we had a great selection of 14 applications from all the other areas. At that time, we decided to move forward with 7 individuals from that group of 14, plus myself in the role of Director of Parks and Recreation, and also Grace Moyer, who has volunteered to serve as the initial treasurer for the foundation. The 7 selected members that we have identified are Andrew Hudson, Greg Mullins, James Bibb, Jessica Mozzie, Ross Ruffing, Sonia Westervelt, and Ariana Hartman. In your packet, you'll be able to find their qualifications and why they are greatly suited to be the founding board of directors for this new foundation. What are our next steps? We will soon be organizing our first meeting with the group. The first couple meetings will consist of collectively defining the vision, the mission, and the goals of the foundation, as well as reviewing and making the final edits of the foundation bylaws. Once the bylaws are finalized by the group and approved by Mr. Payne for the final time, we will be submitting to the IRS for official 501c3 status. We thank you for your help and approval of the creation of this Recreation Foundation. This foundation will serve as an outlet of fundraising and building community support for recreation for years to come. And if you have any questions regarding any of the members that we have selected, please let me know, or any other questions you may have.
I tried really hard to get someone involved in this.
We did have a really, like I said, we did have a really good group of 14. We're trying to keep the number at a manageable number, not too many, but not very few. With the 7 selected plus Grace and myself, that would be a 9-member foundation.
Yeah.
In our drafted bylaws, we do have it up to 11 members. So that does still leave us in that 2-person buffer over time if we do were to appoint people from those districts. However, we saw that now's a good time to go ahead and start moving forward and not drag this out any longer.
Will you and Grace be voting members on?
We will.
Well, Ariana Hartman, I'm impressed. All of them are impressive, but S&P fundraising sounds pretty great.
Good.
Fundraising opportunity she's gonna bring is great.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Do y'all have any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, is there any action that we have to take on behalf of this?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, we were just seeking the board's
Yes.
endorsement consensus to move forward with these
That's great.
applicants, with it being a private foundation. The board's really not, required to make the official appointments or anything.
Okay, looks good.
And we will keep you all up to date on the status of this as we move forward in the 501c3 process, and then once it is officially approved and created. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, real estate tax exemption application, Synchronicity Foundation. Resolution R 2026-07.
The staff doesn't have anything to add, and as far as I know, the board did not wish to have, Commissioner Goff here, on this, since this is a carryover from the previous meeting, so, we as a staff don't have anything else to add unless you have other questions.
Okay, any discussion, or I'll entertain a motion?
I move that we adopt resolution R 2026-07, Nelson County Board of Supervisors approval of real estate tax exemption application.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, we'll do a roll call vote, please.
Discussion.
Mr. Parr,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
Mr. Linehan,
No.
Dr. Liggins.
Yes.
And just to add to that, I know there were a lot of questions last time. My questions have been answered, and so that's why
I just think we're opening up a can of worms here.
well, it's Can's been open for 26 years, 25 years, so. But my questions were answered, and
Because it's what I looked up there. I mean, we skipped the discussion part, but what I looked up there was it's permissive, it's not mandatory. And meditation is an art of practiced by religion. It is not a religion. What's to stop me to go home tonight and with a Michelob Ultra on my back porch and close my eyes and listen to birds chirp and file for a tax exemption next year? That's my take.
Okay, authorization of public hearing to amend Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2-74, local emergency. Resolution 2026-08.
proposed ordinance amendment, it's kind of come about, with our recent declaration of local emergency. Our local code, requires that once the emergency is declared, the board must ratify it within 5 days, whereas the state code allows, 45 days for that. So we want, or are proposing to amend our county code to mirror what the state code says, which is here on the screen. We would strike the language that requires the entire board of supervisors at a special meeting within 5 days of the declaration, have to meet and confirm such declaration to, the board being able to meet at its next regularly scheduled meeting or at a special meeting within 45 days of the declaration, whichever comes first. So this resolution just authorizes us to advertise a public hearing for this code amendment. And we would plan to do that at
Yeah.
March 10th.
I think this is very reasonable. Ernie is an example. He couldn't escape for several weeks.
Jessica did offer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, 15 days.
15 days.
Yeah.
I think this is reasonable. Madam Chair, when you're prepared for a motion.
I'm ready.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve resolution R 2026-08 as presented for the
Second.
public hearing.
All right, we have a
Public hearing,
motion and a
Yes, we
second.
have a public hearing March 10th.
We'll roll call vote, please.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Park,
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford,
Yes.
Mr. Linehan.
Yes.
Dr. Liggins.
Yes.
And thank you.
Yeah, March 10th, right? Yeah.
Public
It says
hearing.
it right there.
7 p.m.
Okay.
Oh, wow, we got the same, each month is the same.
It is, yes.
It's February. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm ready for
Somebody's in
your report.
charge.
All right, well, I just figured she was just gonna
It's your
stay
job,
there and
Jessica. You're-
please start.
Before I start, can I ask the board to look at your seats? You should have an email from Ben Wilson of Davenport, a listing of different dates that they are available to meet with us to look at our debt capacity and fund balance and other financial advisement issues.
Is the 25th, are we doing that public hearing still, or are we canceling that, the zoning public hearing?
So that, that is a regular planning commission meeting night.
I don't know, I have it on my calendar.
I think you were thinking that was the
Work session.
public open house.
Yes.
Day, and we're not.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Right.
I'm deleting that. I'm free that day at that time.
So we would propose to do 4 to 6 Wednesday, February 25th. And then the planning commission meeting would be immediately after, at, well, not immediately, but at 7 p.m. after that. If that's our preferred date, if that can work for you all.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You good?
That
4
works
to-
great for me.
4 to 6?
4 to 6, yes.
It ain't gonna take long.
Or,
That-
you know, we'd like to
Whatever.
give Dr. Liggins some time between meetings. Or anyone else, if you all. go to the
February
planning commission.
25th.
Yes. Okay, does that seem acceptable for everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank
We're
you.
good.
Just wanted to make sure.
Make it so.
Yeah.
Okay, we shall make it so. So today's meeting will adjourn and continue until that date and time then.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, so. As far as my report, at the DSS building, project site, we have site work continuing, including the installation of stormwater management systems, electrical data conduit, and retaining wall form work, continuing on the site. County administration staff, our building code official Mars and Mr. Brantley have been working with PMA, Timmins, Livingston Fire Department, and the Service Authority to finalize our fire protection design elements before the building footers and slab are poured, which should be happening fairly soon. Our Department of Social Services, we've made our advisory board appointments last month. We sent their contact information to the state. State has emailed members with credentials and links to complete new board member training within 60 to 90 days. And then an initial meeting date will be determined once that training is complete. Did you receive your?
Yes.
Great. As far as next steps in the 2026 reassessment, our Board of Equalization Department of Taxation Training has concluded. Our members have been certified by the state and they are pending appointment by circuit court order. Once that's done, they will set their hearing schedule, which will be released to the public, and we'll begin scheduling those hearings for assessment appeals. Our transfer station tipping floor replacement project has gotten started. Our invitation to bid has been issued with bidding documents available tomorrow, February 11th. Proposed schedule of work is shown here. We have an optional pre-bid meeting scheduled for February 17th. We would receive sealed bids March the 4th at 2 p.m. We would have a goal of awarding our contract March 18th, 2026. That would be likely at a continued or called meeting of the board. And because we're on such a time crunch, we would really need to work with the board to get that meeting scheduled as soon as we have a contract to be awarded. And then we have completed construction scheduled for May 31st, 2026. And we do have an MOU that's been executed with Amherst County for solid waste disposal at their landfill during the project construction period. And we'll work on getting that word out to all of our citizens as far as where they need to go, what they need to do to take their trash to the Amherst landfill during the project construction. We have been in contact with CHA and have provided them with our local well driller contact information so they can start gathering some pricing information for potential inclusion in our FY27 CIP for the board's consideration. That's in process. Thank you all for helping us get that information together. On the Cover the Caboose project, the recent inclement weather has delayed a Madison Heights firm, Cascio and Sons Construction, from coming on site to provide us a quote. However, they're supposed to be providing us an estimated cost range by midweek this week, and then provide a refined quote after coming on site next week. So we're expecting that. On the space needs follow-up, the Nelson Center managers are finalizing the requested financial information, and any possible or long-term options from the school division remain pending. So I'll have any new information from them on their thoughts on the space needs. Last month I reported a little bit. Yes, sir.
You're saying that the school division hasn't in general given us information on their space needs, or they haven't given us their thoughts on the Nelson Center? What are you saying there?
No thoughts on any short or long-term options at this point.
From the school?
From the school division, right.
But have they told us what amount of space they need?
Yeah.
Yes,
We
they
know,
do.
Okay, that's
we
what I
know
thought.
what their space needs are.
Okay, that's,
But I think they've been tasked with looking at what they think are good short and long-term options for them. I do know Dr. Hester has been over to the Nelson Center and I think toured a little bit with Margaret Claire to see what exactly the space, what's there, how it's configured, those types of things. I know she attended a meeting at the current social services location and then took us a quick tour of those facilities while she was there. So those are the things I'm aware of, but I haven't got any other official updates.
Thank you.
From them. Yeah. Okay. I'll move on to the Livingston Sewer Rehab Project. Last month, I talked about a meeting that county staff was going to have with service authority staff to review an updated PER that included expansion of the scope of work and new cost projections. This scope includes 10 additional manholes that have now been located within the project area, as well as some other issues identified through them using CCTV cameras of the system in May of '25. So there are 2 alternative scopes with probable costs now of $4,115,000 and the second of $5,545,000. This is more than the $2,235,000 that was the original cost of the original project scope. So project engineers, service authority staff, and county staff are working with USDA RD on how best to address this, either within the original budget, completing the most critical elements, or obtaining an expanded loan from USDA RD. We'll have, a future presentation of this subject in more detail in the near future.
That's
But
crazy.
I mean, that's just a portion of Livingston too. It's not all of it, it's a fairly large portion of it.
I think so. I'm not certain if it's the entire
Mm,
Livingston system
I
or
don't
not, to
think
be
it is.
honest with you.
I mean,
It's like we have, when it comes to addressing that issue, I mean, it's more. I mean, there's definitely, or I can't remember what the map specifically, how many people it was impacting, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's more.
I believe the difference between the 2 updated project scopes, the lesser one is utilizing that same technology of lining the pipes versus replacing the pipes, which I believe is the more expensive
one.
option 2. Is that correct? Or is your,
That makes sense.
So is this here just for?
I don't know, might be.
okay.
Yeah.
I
believe that is
believe
correct.
that's what the difference is there.
Is this just for 10 additional manholes and some
Once they found.
The ones they found, there's ones that they still,
$2 million for 10 additional manholes?
it's not just the manholes. It also has to do with the actual, some of the terracotta lines as well.
Right, there were some other
It's
issues
not-
they
it's not that
identified
much
with the
for-
cammering
Yeah.
that I can't articulate at the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It's a nice thick description on it, so.
okay, let's see. Lastly, the Seven Stars Music Festival organizers have announced their 26 festival dates of October 9th through the 11th. For a similar sized event is 25. They've issued a press release that includes estimated economic benefits to the county and region, which I have attached to my report. And then I also updated the meals and lodging tax collection and entity tracking report. Lodging units went from 833 to 838. And I think I reported this last month that our transient occupancy taxes collected for the 2025 calendar year was 2.7 million. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Has Maureen's office reviewed this PR press release from Seven Stars for
I know that she
validity?
hasn't. I'm not sure how much of it they've tried to validate. I know the Commissioner of Revenue is calling them on some of their TOT and food and beverage tax revenue to see.
Yeah, because the $120,000 in food tax did not equate to your graph over here. The biggest jump I can see is $8,000 over here.
I mean, that's also depends on what happened economically too. Like the TOT definitely was there.
Yeah, sure.
That
Yeah, I've
was
seen
definitely
that one.
there.
Yeah.
And that's big. They also had a myriad of food vendors that paid it directly also, which was operationally,
Mhm.
I don't know if they've ever done it the same way twice or not, but
Shouldn't it transpond on this?
I don't know
Sure.
so. It should.
Best I can find is one from 143,000 to 150,000. Some change.
It used to be back until recently, you used to be able to ask specifically each entity and what they paid. And then in recent history, they changed that law, correct? Where we can't ask specifically who paid what publicly, only the Commissioner of Revenue can know.
Right,
That
the
was
lodge-
like this-
That's the lodging.
Is that just lodging or is that
I believe it's
meals
just
as well?
related to lodging.
I think it's both.
Because on the transit, yeah, you can see right here from
Yeah,
October
no,
to November.
no denying that one.
204 to 358.
Yeah.
And then over here from October to November, it went from 145 to 143, and
No,
December was 150.
Yeah.
Definitely
that's
not,
definitely a Commissioner of Revenue question on there.
definitely not $120,000 in meals and lodging tax. I mean, meals tax there.
Could we get some correspondence from Kim on that?
I can try to do that, yes.
I think that'd be good for us to know.
Yes. I do-
$30,000 donation.
I do have one more item of information, if, but I can wait till, if you all want to continue with that discussion. Okay, if not, we do have a notice of design public hearing from VDOT, and this has to do with the Livingston Sidewalk Improvement TAP Grant. They're gonna be holding this, they're calling it a public hearing, but if any of you went to the public hearing on the roundabout, it's not quite the format you envision in your mind. It's gonna be the same format where they're gonna have VDOT people there to answer questions. They'll have storyboards up, of the project, and that's more or less the format. You can submit questions that, they can answer at a later date. It's not like they're gonna give a presentation and then the public will be able to get up and say what they wanna say about the project. That's
It's
not,
more of like a cocktail party.
sort of like, more like an open house
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, right, not a.
Right.
not-
When is
Without
this?
cocktails.
Right.
Or with.
Or-
You know,
So this will be at the Nelson Center.
Hey Candy, when
Thursday-
was the VDOT meeting?
The day after, it's on the
Right now?
26th.
Thursday, February 26th, from 4 to
4 to
6.
6.
Yeah. So sorry, I forgot to put that in my report.
And that's at the Nelson Center.
At the Nelson Center. That's, yeah, it's been publicly advertised as well. So, all right, happy to answer any other questions.
Any questions for Candy?
Nope.
Silence over here. Okay, thank
Thank
you.
Thank you very much.
Board reports.
Yeah, then.
Jesse.
In terms of my reports, PDC was not able to make that meeting. I went to VACO Day. We had a lot of correspondence related to the hold harmless funds. I had met with Ellen. She was Ellen Campbell when she helped run the line of duty benefit bill for us. She's the one now. She's on appropriations. This is a budget amendment, so it's not necessarily legislation. A more perfect fix would also, of course, be legislation. So the hold harmless funny is to assist multiple localities, and we've seen Candy's correspondence for localities that experience, I think it was 4%, 4% change. The overall reception was, this is gonna be a hard sale. Appropriations and their staff are kind of the decision makers on this. One of the olive branches that I extended was, one of the olive branches I extended was, okay, if we can't get was it 3 years, 2 years? Just one of the others, like 2 years. I asked that we just do 1 year, if that's a sales pitch that works, because 1 year is still better than no years, right? It doesn't seem like it's gonna be a easy feat, if a feat happens at all. I wouldn't necessarily put all of our eggs in the basket on counting on that for now. The delegate McClellan said she will definitely bring this up in appropriations and see what reception is on the topic. Delegate Amy Lawfer has indicated that she will correspond with some of her colleagues in the Democrat caucus. But there's no certainty of what that reality is going to be. So I spent, probably a good 4 or 5 hours learning kind of something that we did not know. It is good that it's multiple localities because we get a little bit more play, but a lot of the decision makers who are in appropriations aren't representing any of those localities. So our neighbor to the west, Ellen, was kind of my best bet and guess. Our legislative liaison, David Blunt, is having a myriad of conversations with the senators and delegates to see if he can get something to stick. I don't think he's sent any updates that I've seen that has shown a change in nature, but yeah, so.
Didn't have any. Mine's coming up.
Thanks, Jesse, for doing that. I was at the TJPDC Zoom call. they're doing some remodeling of their, at their office in Charlottesville, so, in a couple of, I think our next meeting will be face-to-face instead of by Zoom. Not much to report there, not much to report with Java. So I'll pass to you.
Very good. MS Council met, this month, but I don't think there wasn't anything exciting, was there?
Yes, sir.
I didn't think so, yeah. So nothing much there. And tomorrow, I know last week was, local government day on the Hill. Well, tomorrow is insurance day on the Hill, so I'll be there tomorrow and I'll be sure to bring up composite index, along with some other industry stuff, but yeah.
I have nothing to report because planning commission meeting was canceled. And Dylan gave an excellent plan for the future, doing the smaller meetings, see if we can pound out some more details. But I'm excited about the map development. That's all I've got.
I'm excited. Oh, yeah, that also came about while I was there. Just realizing we could do that, so.
Yeah.
Glad that came out.
Yes. Okay, appointments.
Madam Chair, I'm prepared to make a motion to put Aaron Loving on the Library Advisory Committee for the East District.
Second.
All right, do we have any discussion? Hearing none, can we just voice vote on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Perfect. Aaron Loving is now our new Library Advisory Committee. Amanda, you have any updates?
No updates at this time, really. I'm waiting to hear back from Mr. Hall on whether he'd like to continue with the James River Alcohol Safety Action Program. He's been on there for a while, but I know he's kind of taken a step back on a few other items, so still pending, but hopefully we'll have an update next month.
I'm not familiar with that at all. Could you send me some information or send out some just so if we're gonna pitch it, we have something to pitch?
Sure.
Thank you.
And as for Larry, so this economic development, he's South District, so are we specifically advertising for a South District person for EDA, or is it kind of?
Those are countywide.
Okay,
so
all
it
right,
can be
at large.
anybody.
Okay,
Board of Zoning Appeals is also countywide. Currently, we are seeking a regular appointment and then an alternate for the BZA.
okay.
We've advertised for all of these. I haven't gotten invites yet. I may have an interested applicant on the BZA, but Dylan and I need to touch base on that again.
Can you also send information on the Ag and Forestry District Advisory Committee? I had someone ask me about that.
That's always a hard one.
Am I still on that or am I off of that?
You are still on there.
I'm still on. Have we had a meeting?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just-
You will hear.
Yeah.
Planning and zoning does coordinate those.
Okay.
Oh, so it's through, okay, perfect.
Hey, Cameron.
No.
Okay. I'll be on it, Robert.
And technically, for that's a countywide thing as well, the Ag Forestry District.
This is for a producer,
Yep.
position. Mr. Reed, I believe you are a producer. We had Andy Wright on there and he has stepped out of that, so.
So producer in agricultural products is what you're saying?
Yes.
Trees.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Or
all right.
trees.
Trees.
All right.
Agricultural products.
Boxwoods.
So,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
And that's all I have on that for today.
Okay, any correspondence?
Madam Chair, I'll just note the correspondence that Robin Hausner spoke to that you all received by email. He did send correspondence related to that section.
Yeah. I feel like he summed it up pretty well in public comments. Any directives?
Kind of mentioned this casually, but I would like staff to look at what it would take for us to reconsider or reinstating a tire amnesty day for citizens, not businesses, but residents.
Yeah. I think we've done it where they had a tire limit too. It was like 4 tires.
Yeah, something like that. If we could revisit what we've done in the past and look at,
Yeah, if we can get information on what we've done in the
Right.
past, I would like
Yep.
to see that.
that's a great idea.
Albemarle did this. There were some residents in Albemarle on the Howardsville side. And they did a tire pickup out of the river. And if I'm not mistaken, the county said if it was part of that event, they just brought the tires. Tires are brought specifically out of the river, the James River. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
I stopped by the Rockfish Refuge Center. It seems like you're still having some troubles with mattresses and couches and so forth. There's actually a mattress sitting inside of the donation building, the refuge little building. And I asked them, I said, well, what do you think would be best? And they said, they suggested like a 3-month suspension of it.
Of the donation building itself.
Of the donation building itself. They said people are using it as profit. They're kind of bickering and so forth over it. And
Yeah, they did that in the past when there were a couple of confrontations that people reported.
it's not up to them it's up to them to go there and push the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's.
Have we gotten any more? Have we heard anything else further out of them? I know we got the cops involved a little bit.
No, I haven't heard of any other issues other than the leaving of larger items next to
Yeah.
the shed, and we barricaded that off. And I haven't heard that there were other issues, but
Now they're parking, he said they're actually parking in front of the dumpster and causing the backflow of cars to back out of the gate, while they're dumping stuff off.
Didn't we put up, video surveillance there?
I don't think
I
we've
don't think
gone
so.
to that. That was
Oh,
gonna
I
be
just-
one
no.
of the next steps. if
Okay.
things
We-
didn't
I knew we
calm down
discussed it.
some, But we did discuss that as
They
well.
just can't pay.
No, we can't.
Huh? That's why we can't have nights.
What's the board's thoughts about issuing like a 3-month suspension on that, just the donation building?
I mean, other than a mattress and a sofa, how bad, is it consistent? I mean, before your time, it got bad. I mean, it was bad for a
Fights.
while. I mean, fights and,
Yeah.
it was a mess. So when I'm hearing a sofa and a mattress, no.
Yeah.
But I'm just asking. How,
The attendants are certainly aware of it, and they move people along as best they can. Hopefully that.
The attendance is
Well,
limited
how many attendants did you speak to?
to,
How many attendants are there?
I don't know.
what is
How about we get
the
management?
supervisor?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
to assess the situation and then bring us a
That's fine. We can
recommendation.
do that. Because it's there to help people, right? It's not there
Yeah.
for business.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, my understanding, you want, Mr. Brantley to assess the situation and then provide his recommendation.
Please.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I was gonna suggest a restroom break before we
Thank
got
you.
into the second half.
I agree with that statement. Yep.
5 minutes.